Okay, let's dive right into this. You know, we all tend to think of the world as this one single shared reality. A tree is a tree, a rock is a rock, right? But what if that's just our view? The animal kingdom, well, it suggests something way more fascinating, that different animals build their picture of the world in fundamentally different ways, creating these unique sensory universes we can barely even imagine.
So just think about it for a second. How do you, personally, construct your reality? I'm guessing you'd say with your eyes, your ears, your sense of touch. And yeah, you'd be totally right. For a human. But is that the only way? Today, we're going to explore two creatures that have evolved completely different answers to that very same question.
So let's meet our two main examples, the fish and the bat. I mean, they both need to solve the same basic problems, finding food, not getting eaten, and just getting around. But one of them paints its world with photons of light, while the other builds this incredibly detailed map using echoes of sound. They live on the same planet, but they are living in truly different sensory worlds. All right, first up, let's plunge into the fish's world. For a lot of fish, reality is this vibrant, shimmering canvas, just painted with an absolutely incredible spectrum of light, revealing all these details that are completely invisible to you and me. A fish's eye is really a marvel of biological engineering. It's actually a lot like our own. It functions basically like a camera. Light comes in, it gets bent by the cornea and a lens, and it forms a nice, sharp image on the retina in the back. It's a beautifully efficient system for capturing light. But what it sees with that light, well, that's where things get really, really interesting. And this is where we really see the limits of our own perception. That rainbow we see, it exists in a pretty narrow range, from about 400 to 700 nanometers. But a goldfish? Oh, its world is just bursting with colors we can't even begin to imagine. It can see ultraviolet light, which might make certain patterns on other fish just pop and glow. And it can see far-red light too, extending its vision into wavelengths where we are completely and totally blind. Okay, so now let's flip the switch and move to a world of absolute darkness, where light is pretty much useless. For a bat, reality isn't seen, it's heard. It navigates this complex, three-dimensional space by painting a vivid picture made entirely of echoes. This whole process is called echolocation, and it's basically seeing with sound. It's so cool. The bat sends out this short, high-frequency click. That sound travels out, it bounces off everything in its path, a moth, a branch, a cave wall, and those echoes come back to the bat's incredibly sensitive ears. Its brain then processes the timing and the quality of these echoes to create this rich, detailed sound picture of everything around it. And the frequencies they use, I mean, they're just staggering. Bats can send out pulses up to 200,000 hertz. Now, to put that in perspective, most of us humans can't hear anything above 20,000 hertz. So a bat's call is literally 10 times higher than our absolute upper limit. This lets it see the fine details of a tiny insect from across a room, all in complete darkness. It's amazing. So, okay, we've got two radically different worlds, one built from light, one from sound. But the fish and the bat are just two examples in this vast, varied sensory universe. Evolution has produced this incredible toolkit of senses, and each one is perfectly tailored for a specific way of life. And the diversity is just incredible. Get this, some snakes have these heat-sensing pits that create a literal thermal image of their prey. Migrating birds, they navigate by actually sensing the Earth's magnetic field. A platypus hunts by detecting the faint electrical pulses from its prey's muscles. Every one of these senses creates a reality tuned specifically for survival. You know, this all leads to a really interesting question. With all these amazing senses out there, where do we humans fit in? How does our version of reality really stack up against the champions of the animal kingdom? Well, when you look at the data, it's clear we live in a very specific sensory bubble. Our vision is good, sure, but a buzzard has 5 times the density of light receptors, giving it stunningly sharp sight. Our hearing is decent, but a kangaroo rat amplifies sound over 5 times more effectively than we do. It can hear an owl's wings cutting through the air. And our sense of smell? Let's be honest, it's frankly terrible compared to a dog's. So here's the crucial point. Evolution doesn't really care about giving any species an objective, true picture of reality. Senses are just survival tools. They're shaped to filter the world and give you only the information you need to find food, find a mate, and avoid becoming dinner. Everything else is just noise.
And that, of course, brings us to the biggest, most profound question of all. If every single species is living in its own custom-built sensory world, what can we possibly say about the nature of reality itself? You know, there's this ancient story that perfectly captures our situation. You've probably heard it. Several blind men encounter an elephant for the very first time. One touches the ear and says, "Oh, it's like a fan." Another feels the leg and says, "No, it's a tree trunk." A third touches the side and claims it's a wall. Every single one of them is correct based on their limited perception, but all of them are completely wrong about what an elephant is. We and every other species are just like those men, grasping one tiny part of a much, much larger reality. So I'm going to leave you with this final thought. If a flower looks one way to us, another way to a bee seeing an ultraviolet, and is just this vague shape to a bat perceiving it with sound, which one is the real flower? Does it even have properties like color or shape until a specific sensory system is there to observe it? The more we learn about the sensory worlds of other animals, the more we have to question how solid our own reality really is.